Hello and welcome to another video, which is a part of my research paper diaries. And this is the first video about my big secondary school research project, research report, kind of thesis. I'm not at university, but kind of a thesis. So I have begun the process of making the paper. And also, I finished 1/3 of the primary source reading. If you kept up with my channel, you know that I am researching the Brontë sisters, Emily and Charlotte together. I am taking one work from each and constructing the comparative analysis, but also looking through it from critical discourse analysis method, and I am particularly focusing on the unvoicing of women in 19th century literature, and I'm looking at how these women from 19th century create their own women and their own voices, and through different acts of silencing, how they are silenced, how women choose to be silenced, and how that kind of is affected by their class status and various other social kind of aspects. And right now, what I want to make a video about is pretty much the first steps after after creating a structure, because I did do that earlier this year. I completely finished it in May, and I sent it to my teacher and she approves of it, so I'm very excited. I have an actual structure that I'm probably going to use and is working for me. And basically the timeline for this writing is basically I want to say that I have completely finished first draft by the end of summer. It is the 16th of June. I am working through June and July, so I have kind of not as much time as I kind of believe or have the concept of having time in summer, but I am determined to write something. And right now I have a structure. I have my source list, but I write in a specific way of I find at first before writing anything. I figure out my thesis statement or something like that, and then I branch off into two simultaneous doings. I figure out my structure, and I also in the meantime I'll start pulling some secondary sources that I could base my arguments on. And right now I have a list of secondary sources that are kind of thematic about the sisters' biography, work critics, further analysis of narrative and discourse if I can find any. But my style of writing is that I base it off my opinion, argument, my not opinion, but my research and argument, but then also and I add the ones that I have found, but I also keep looking for the sources during the writing. So right now, what I want to do by the end of June, I want to have written an introduction and read second book from the primary sources. I have already read Villette by Brontë. It took a while. I'm hoping that the next book doesn't take as long. It can't take as long because I literally don't have time for that. But the next book I'm reading is Wuthering by Emily Brontë. I'm very excited to read it, see my opinion formed during reading, because while I didn't particularly enjoy Villette, I'm very hopeful to Emily because this is my first time reading out of Charlotte Brontë, because before I had read Jane Eyre, obviously, and that was it. But I knew I wanted to do some research on the Brontë sisters. But I didn't like the new film that was created later during this year, and I kind of took the opinion of the people who criticized it and said that they had read the book. I also see that obviously you don't want the story of Wuthering Heights be like it's not a palatable story. It is gut wrenching. It is sad, and I feel like if they created it truly in accordance with Emily's vision, it wouldn't sell. And that's why they made the choices they made at the writing and costumes and everything at the production of the film. But I didn't enjoy it. So I'm excited to see what I think about the book. And anyways, it doesn't matter what I think about a book. I need to read it for research purposes. But that's what I'm gonna give in this intro, and later today I am gonna plan out my introduction and I will show you my process of it. See you then. Hello, I've just come on a quick walk, really quick, but I wanted to quickly talk about what I'm doing today. So instead of planning out my introduction as I think I said I wanted to do, I started doing methodology work and actually focused on the critical discourse analysis and actually took my time to learn aspects of it. I've read a paper to about critical discourse analysis, type of it. An academic enlightened me into her way of critical discourse analysis. I'm pretty sure I understand it and perhaps would like to follow it as an example for my own research, but I just jotted down in my little commonplace book all the keynote ideas and definitions, and of course wrote a citation so I can perhaps look back to it. Not necessarily the whole text, but just the key concepts so I know what I can use and what I shouldn't. So yeah, that's what I've done today. I think I'm stopping the work for today. So hello, it's been a few days. I am ready to finally start doing more work towards my research, and now I'm in the period where I need to I need to do my prep for introduction writing. The prep I do is very easy, it's not too much work, but what I do is I want to just plan out my introduction in the form of bullet point list where I go through the requirements of the introduction and also my personal backlog of writing research and what I need, what there needs to be in the introduction, and I just write a bullet point list of what there needs to be and like my kind of idea of what I'm gonna write for it. So like main thesis, problem, and like everything like that, methods and stuff like that. I want to write it down in my actual document and pinpoint a few sentences, ideas, with what I'm planning to do, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. A little bit about my progress on my primary source reading. I have finished Villette, but I have also started briefly reading Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. I am just 2 pages in. I'm literally nowhere near finishing this, but I do want to finish this also at around the same time as I finish writing introduction, because this is kind of the shortest novel in the primary sources, and I have Tenant of Wildfell, which is much longer, so I will need more time to read. it. So yes, let's get up my document on some vibes and continue working. So here are the basic bullet points of the introduction. I'm gonna think on it and write some keyword sentences and things that I want to write in the introduction, but not completely write it, just main things of each paragraph that I want to add. It's a while later, but I wanted to update on my introduction. I've basically written out, I want to say, the first 3 or 4 points about like my planning, not the whole paragraphs, just my plans, points, sentences. I made like pretty in-depth like 2 to 3 sentences on each point on what I want to talk about. Some of them I probably will just try to restyle and make it better sounding, but and keep the main thing, and others were just more explanatory rather than actual paragraphs. But I wanted to include a little bit about my reading progress and my plans, even though that's not really what the aim of this specific research diaries episode is. But I am going to read Wuthering Heights this night, tonight before bed. I felt like reading it. I'm probably... let me see if it actually has chapters. I want to get to chapter 3 by tonight. And that is basically 17 pages. It's not a lot. I'm not trying to force myself to read this tonight because I have had a busy day and a lot has happened. I'm a little bit tired, but I do want to get my reading progress on. And this is the book that I brought with while traveling. So that's my primary source reading update. Probably see you tomorrow if I do any more work in my introduction, which I might do and I might not. We'll see how it goes. But the next few days I am definitely focusing on my introduction because I want it to be done by the next 7 days. So yes, see you the next time. To check in and say that I've actually finished writing my introduction and have sent it in to my teacher. So let me show you a little. Here it is in all its glory. It's like almost 1,000 words. I even added some references. Not nearly as many as I did when I wrote my history research paper, but still I've added references. And I finished the introduction part, which is amazing because this is honestly my first truly starting to write the paper. And I spent 3 consecutive 2 hours of writing my plan for the introduction, which I did by grabbing, I showed a little bit of it, but which I did by grabbing all the necessary points that you need for an English literature research paper in an introduction, and I used them as bullet points, and under them I wrote full sentences, but mostly shorter to the point of the main argument or main thesis of the sentence that would describe this paragraph. And towards the end I started writing just regularly writing academic formal language, full sentences, full structures and everything, but after those planning I just read through them, and I spent, I want to say 3 hours fully just taking those plan sentences and changing and morphing them into fully fleshed out thought that I wrote in the academic style, and made sure that the idea is clear but also shows the understanding and everything of the theme, and basically just fleshed out the complete idea of my research paper. And now I wanted to talk about my progress in reading this book. Currently I can't give you a perfect page number because I am listening on audiobook a little bit of Wuthering Heights because I just wanted to multitask a little bit. But I am like decently, I want to say like 90 pages perhaps in, somewhere there, of Wuthering Heights. I've been enjoying this a lot more than Villette, sadly, but it's also fortunate for me because I can analyze and read this book in the same time, so I can enjoy it for my own benefit and also analyze it for the research paper. But the next order of business is waiting for my teacher to send in their comments and what they think, the feedback of my introduction, if I need to add anything or take something out or just the general feel of it. I'm not sure what the teacher will say, but they said that there's gonna be the feedback loop next week. It's Sunday, so somewhere between Monday and Friday there will be some feedback. But right now, all I'm probably gonna do in regards to writing my research paper is just reading this book. I have 3 days in my set deadline to finish this, which heavily relies on me reading today, because tomorrow I have work and I'm not gonna have much time to read, and the day after I also have work. But it's good that I have finished the introduction because I wanted to, my complete deadline was the same as finishing Wuthering Heights, which was Tuesday. But I finished writing my introduction yesterday, so I just had this little time of just reading the book, but I've been enjoying it and I'm reading it fairly quickly. I'm not a fast reader, as you may know, but combining audiobook with physical copy is my fave way to read faster. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, and let me know how are you enjoying this type of series content, because I've ventured in research paper writing vlogs a little bit. I wrote my first research paper, I believe, I think, yes, using a vlog, and then I stopped, and then I wrote my last one as a vlog, but now since the research paper that I'm writing right now is a little bit lengthier and bigger and I have more time to write it, I decided to split it up in sections and vlogs, and I want to say that this vlog will continue through just the feedback process of introduction, and then I will cut it up and edit it, and that is what you see right now. But yeah, let me know if you're enjoying this type of content, because I am kind of a booktuber, kind of, but I have used and made a lot of study content in my channel. So let me know, how do you feel about study content, and let me know any ideas that you want me to do on YouTube here. And the next time when I see you is when I'm gonna have feedback for my introduction. Coffee time. I've finished doing whatever I did on my computer, and I've decided that it's time for an great afternoon coffee and some reading. But this time I'm starting to actually grab my annotation tools, which are very simple. Just some tabs and a black pen. I just lost my bookmark, but it's fine. I finished in a chapter. I've kind of matched my tabs. Where can I see you? I kind of matched my tabs with the cover of the book, but I have lost, because I've used the same exact tabs for Villette, and I tabbed it quite a lot actually. Villette, for the fact that I hated the experience of reading it, is a very good book for my research thesis. But for now, I have read the 94 pages of Wuthering Heights, and right now I haven't yet found extracts that I can use for my research. So I'm hoping that now, as I sit down, I will be able to read more. And I'm basically just hoping that I can find some more extracts that I can use for my research, because I did want to add all the Brontes in my research, and it is an integral part of my argument that I have all of them in the perspectives, and I have planned, like, loosely based on the synopsis of the story and what I know of the story, of where I can use, like, Catherine and Heathcliff. But right now I haven't found, like, direct places. I may have to go through the 94 pages I have read and look at them again and perhaps tab them later. But at first, I just want to continue reading, and if I find something, I will. So it's been a while, hasn't it? I've come with news that I have my feedback for my introduction. I've also edited my introduction. I'm gonna be honest, right now as I'm filming, I have done much more progress than has been documented. But to be fair, I am documenting another episode of Research Diaries, but I wanted to talk strictly about the introduction. During the feedback loop, I realized that I also needed to write a literature review that I hadn't done. I wrote it. I have a full page of literature review where I focused on my primary sources, my secondary sources, and a little bit also about the methodology that I used in my paper, but I've written that. I updated my introduction. Good news, the introduction didn't have to be heavily edited. Mostly what it was cosmetic or tonal changes, so that was good for me. But now I want to say that this episode, the first episode of this research project, where I have started writing about my research on the Brontë sisters, is officially concluded, because I have submitted and it is approved. Structure, introduction, literature review, and chapter 1. But about my writings of chapter 1, you will get to learn in the next episode of Research Diaries, which will, I want to say, come out soon. I'm not sure if it's going to come out soon, because my plan for the next episode is to have it split into chapter 1 and 2 writing process, because overall I have 4 main chapters of my paper, and so far I have written chapter 1 and kind of 90 or 80% done with the first subchapter of the second chapter, so I'm not fully done. But that's my plan. And we're gonna do it. So, thank you for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye!